In order to experience the mind of Christ, you must not hoard what God gives you. That means your funnel can't be closed on the bottom. Some people got stopped up funnels. Hoarding stuff, and God said, here, take this and give it to them. Well, I kind of like this. I'm going to keep this for myself. God said, I want you to use this to minister to them. This minister is real good for my kids. But once you take this minister and minister to them, well, my mom and them really need this, so I'm going to minister to them. So now you have hoarded what God has given you, and it's stuck in the funnel, and you can't minister to anybody else because you got too much stuck in you. I'll try to read through this and not comment too much because I think it speaks for itself. I said try. Matthew chapter 25, verse number 24 says this, so this is God's conversation about those who he gave gifts to and said, I'm going to put this in your funnel for you to distribute it out into this particular place. And one guy said what God gave him, he took a different approach to it. He says, then the man who had received one bag of gold, master, he said, I knew that you were a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not spread a seed. In other words, I know you hire people to do the job rather than do the job yourself. You're a boss. He says, I was afraid and I went out and hid what you gave me in the ground. I hid your gold in the ground. He says, see, here's what belongs to you. In other words, instead of working for you, I took the tools you gave me and put them in the ground and went and did my own thing. And then after I got through doing my own thing, when it was time for me to come back, I went and dug your stuff up to bring it back to you. He said, I still got it. And the master replied to him, you wicked, manipulative, can't be trusted, lazy, don't want to work. He says, servant. And then he says, so you knew that I was your boss, that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not spread seed. In other words, you knew that I hired you to do the job that I didn't want to do. Then he says, well, then you should have put my money into a deposit with the bankers. And when I return, I would receive it back with interest. In other words, when I gave it to you, you should have applied it in a way so that you can give me more than what I gave you. He says, so take the bag away from him and give it to the ones who had 10 bags. I want to take it to the ones who do the job. Then he says, then he gives us the principle. For whoever will be given more, whoever has will be given more, and they will have abundance. In other words, if you use it right, I'll give you more. Then he says, whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them and throw that worthless servant outside, fire him into the darkness, where there'll be disgust and frustration, weeping and gnashing of teeth. God says, I'm building the kingdom of disciples. And if I put stuff in your funnel and it never makes the other side, not only have you left a person starving, but you brought no benefit to what I've given you. So take that funnel out of the field as a dysfunctional unit and put it over there with the other ones who are disgusted, weeping and gnashing of teeth. Put it over there with them. Because I don't want, if you have a tire on your car and the slow leak starts becoming a flat overnight, eventually you take that tire off and you get it off your car so that the vehicle can do what it's supposed to do. The question is, how many people in here got slow leaks? Some people got fast leaks. Some people are already flat tires. What's been stuck in your funnel and for how long? Wow. How long you been listening to sermons? How long you been reading your Bible? How long you been singing praise songs? Let me ask you a question. What's come out on the other end?